This here is my newly finished DJH Coronation steam engine. Now that I've finished the build video, I thought I'd give a quick review and just let you know what my thoughts are on the whole thing. In case you haven't seen the build video, the model is made completely from metal. The main body and many of the other major parts and details are cast white metal, and then the rest of it is mostly made from etched brass. So that gives it a good amount of weight overall and just a really good quality feel to the whole thing. The white metal takes well the details, and of course the etched brass looks excellent. Now comparing this to prototype photos, I found that DJH made very few compromises with the thing. Of course the biggest compromise is that this is an 00 scale model, but it runs on HO gauge track instead of the correct track gauge. Someone really skilled can, of course, modify it to fit a scale track gauge if they want to, but the HO track looks close enough with it, so that's really not such a big deal. One of the very nice things about this kit is that DJH provides a lot of detail options for you. So you can have the single stack version as I built it, or the later double stack version. They give you different rear truck parts and rear detail parts depending on if you want this to be like a display model or a running model. So these parts here you would typically use for display or very wide radius. I used the tight radius parts. And then as for the plates here, they give you both brass and stainless steel. The stainless steel is mostly used for the blue color that I did, or the brass would be used for the later red coloring. Another really nice point of the model is that they give you a fully detailed coal bed for the tinder. Now, most other times that I've seen the open coal bed, it's just been a blank for wherever you want to add coal yourself, but in this case you can just leave that open and have full detail if you like, or you can put in your own coal load later. The model also comes with a fully detailed interior with a cast metal backhead and a few other cast metal parts. And then the floor there is etched brass, as well as the doors. And they overall give you a very, very nice looking interior for the model to make it that much more complete. Now, although the model does include the little hook on the back, it doesn't come with any actual method for installing a coupler, so that's left completely up to the one building it. I've added on a KD HO scale size coupler for US trains, of course, so it can pull my cars. And then one other thing that some people may not like as much, but I don't have any problem with it. The buffers there are just single piece cast metal parts instead of being sprung like you might find on some other high quality models, but those are very easily changed out to whatever you might want. For decorating the model, the decals or transfers that I used were made by Fox, another UK company. The quality of these is excellent. The film is some of the thinnest I have ever seen, but it also has a little bit of toughness to it. It has almost an elastic quality when they're wet, and they conform very well to details on their own, and have very little need for any setting solution, except in maybe a few key areas. There were only a couple spots that I couldn't get quite perfect, but overall, they went on very well once I figured out how to handle them. And I think the finished results are really excellent overall. One thing I really like about DJH's kits is that they're mechanically excellent. The parts fit extremely well together, and it doesn't take much at all to make them work very smoothly, so you're pretty much guaranteed to get a very nice running model when you build one of these kits properly. The wheels, motor, and gearbox are all ordered separately from the kit itself to give the builder options, but DJH does offer options of their own for both. So for wheels, if you order those, you'll get a wheel pack, usually consisting of Markets, Romford, and Scale Link wheels, whatever's available to them at the time. All are excellent. Markets, Romford, they're all metal. Scale Link, they'll have plastic centers and metal tires. So my preference is for the Markets or Romford, but either way, you're going to get a very good quality product. The motors, they used to get from Mishima, but since they're gone now, they've had to switch to a different supplier, which I would assume has been very well tested, so you're still going to get a very good motor. Gearboxes are all metal and excellent quality, as I found with my 044T kit a couple years back. Now in this case, I didn't go with their motor and gear options since I already had my own available. I powered this one with an S-cap coreless motor, so it's extremely smooth running and efficient. I created my own little belt drive system going down to a worm drive over a gear that I pulled out of an old broken CD player or something. And the results were excellent. It's extremely quiet, extremely smooth running, and I am overall very happy with how that turned out. The chassis of this model is designed to be more realistic than what you'll find on most HO or OO scale steam engines. It uses a more realistic frame design. You can see the axles exposed in the center there, but that also makes it easier to add in whatever gear and powering system you might want. If you go back to my build video, you'll see that I had to do some modification in the front truck or bogie area in order to make it fit on my 22-inch radius. And I doubt that it would be able to work on an 18-inch radius without compromising some of the detail visually. So this is one where I would say 22 inches for the radius is the absolute minimum. As for the electrical connection to the tender, it is wireless and helps to further enhance the overall appearance of the thing. It uses that metal forked piece to contact the screw coming down from the tender. And in this case, the model included the scale link wheels with plastic centers, so I had to add in some electrical wipers to get pickup from there. But with all that in place, the electrical system is reliable and it runs very smoothly over my track with basically no problem going over any of my switches. Now, an interesting thing about this steam engine and the passenger cars going with it is that they were actually shipped over to the US for a short time and ran alongside the Baltimore and Ohio's Royal Blue. So, until I can get some correct passenger coaches to go with this, I'll just be running it with my Baltimore and Ohio passenger cars. Even though they're not the Royal Blues, it's about as realistic as I can get at the moment. So that's my quick review of DJH's Coronation kit. It's yet another excellent piece by them, and for anyone wanting to build one of these, as long as you put in the effort, I'd say you're guaranteed to get a really, really excellent model out of it.